Hey everybody, it is, what day is it? I have to whip out. Boom. August 4th. I just finished up work. I got off work early. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna talk about how I transitioned out of If It Fits Your Macros, which was basically tracking everything I ate, to intuitive eating. So let's do it. Now, my history, a brief overview, is that I had anorexia between the ages of 10 and 11, 10 to 12. When you are anorexic, you obviously don't eat much at all. Yeah, I dropped like 30 pounds and then I never had a proper recovery after it because I honestly didn't know what was happening, and neither did my family. So honestly, I was taken to the doctor one day and they said, you've lost too much weight, you need to start eating, go grill a steak, get your iron levels up. And that was it. Case closed. Zero conversation about it. And I don't blame anyone, because it's just, I had no idea. We had no idea. Nobody had an idea. Not being able to understand what was going on and just thinking I was obsessed with food or I wanted to be skinny. I never thought that there was anything deeper going on inside. So I kind of just pushed it away. I mean, I was really young. So after that age, that period of being anorexic in my life, I developed these binging habits because I would restrict all these delicious foods that I wanted. Nothing even special, just things I thought were bad, like fat on meat, carbs, bread, desserts. And because I kind of perceived them as such a bad thing and I never let myself have them, when I got access to them, I would go crazy. And I battled that up until I decided, oh, here we go. In 2013, paleo is the answer. I will get so thin and fit and healthy if I eat really clean, only eat clean foods. I have nothing against paleo or clean eating, but personally for me, it was really negative because it perpetuated a lot of restrictive feelings. I couldn't eat a lot and then I would binge on them. And that was just how it went on for me when I was paleo for like 6 months. And then I eventually discovered If It Fits Your Macros. So I started tracking everything I ate and I built up my metabolism. I upped my carbs with the help of really good friends who knew a lot more about tracking macros than I did. I still was like really new, but for me, I was like, perfect, this is the solution. This is everything. I won't ever want to binge. I won't ever have like crazy cravings and go crazy on my food. For a while, it really did work. It really did, because I could fit cookies and crackers and bread and cupcakes even and ice cream into my days, and then eat very nutritious foods, and I had a very balanced diet. But then for me, it was a good distraction again, and it turned into kind of an eating disorder behavior. I would be obsessing on my phone. I would be on MyFitnessPal so much of the day, planning on what I would eat, bringing my scale with me everywhere and counting the grams of food. And there's nothing wrong with that, but for someone like me who was prone to eating disorders, it wasn't really the best solution for me, especially at the time. And I also wasn't, didn't have a specific goal in mind. I wasn't trying to hit a certain body fat. I don't compete, I'm not prepping, anything like this. So for me, I started realizing it was becoming very intense and very serious, and it wasn't working anymore. I was still binging from time to time. So I just sat back and was like, man, all right, something's going on. It's not really working. And so I kind of had to really sort through that and see it. I was like, okay, I've learned a lot from tracking my macros, but now I kind of feel trapped. And I think a lot of people have reached out to me saying things like that. It's like, oh, I just can't get over it. I'm really obsessed with it and I kind of want to get out. And honestly, you can, but I'm telling you, it's okay that you're having a hard time, because I had a really hard time. Let me tell you. I've deleted and downloaded MyFitnessPal so many times onto my phone. And when I didn't have my phone, I would use it on my computer. And then if I didn't have it on my computer, I would write it down and note what I was eating and try to guesstimate all the values of carbs, proteins, fats, and everything, because we feel like it is a really good safety zone. It's a safety blanket for a lot of us who don't have a specific reason for doing it and we have a history of eating disorders. It feels like a really good solution. It's like, I don't have to worry. If I hit my macros, I will not gain weight. If I hit my macros, I will feel comfortable. If I hit my macros, I'm getting closer to whatever your goal is at that time. But then when you realize that it's taking over your life, there's something wrong going on. And this idea of flexible dieting, we often forget the first word of it. It's flexible. And if you're off by some grams, 10 grams, 5 grams, 2 grams, 100 grams, it's not the end of the world, but it feels like it. It really does, and I hear you, because for me, it felt like it. If I went overboard, boom, the whole day's done, I'm just gonna go eat like a bunch of Pop-Tarts. It has happened to me a good amount of times, so it's not the golden solution. So I transitioned slowly but surely, pushing away from my big urges to fall in that safety zone of tracking and stuff. And when you really learn how to listen to your body, it becomes easier that way. We don't trust our bodies a lot of the time to tell us when we're hungry and we're full, because people with eating disorders have like a very skewed version of when we think we're hungry, when we think we're full. You know, we might feel hungry all the time, but it might not be physical hunger. It could be hunger for something else. You know, emotional hunger or boredom, stress, all of that, and it's natural. But when you really just try to look inside and say, hey, what's going on? Trust yourself. And I think that's a big thing that I had to learn how to do, because I didn't trust my own hunger. I was afraid that if I got hungry, I would just binge on everything. And so tracking was good for me to make sure I didn't go over. Once I learned to really trust my body to tell me when I was hungry and full, I actually successfully started intuitive eating. It took me probably about 4 months total, maybe even more, to feel comfortable with not tracking my food. If it takes you a lot less, that's awesome. It takes you a lot more, that's okay too, because you're working towards your goal. You're doing it. You want to feel free and flexible with your eating and with yourself, and trust your body and accept your body. And if you gain weight, lose weight, you will eventually find a happy medium. And everything's temporary. The weight you gain, the weight you lose, you can always change it. Bodies are pretty malleable, so trust the process and trust that you will eventually get to your goal, and that goal is for in here. Once you step away from the crutch of tracking all your food, you learn to be more confident too in yourself and be confident in your decisions. You can trust yourself. Just try. Because that's what I think a lot of people aren't doing. We're so scared that we're gonna binge on all that ice cream in the freezer, or eat that whole tin of cookies that we've got going on, or you know, the leftovers we have in the fridge, if we don't track everything. And I get it. And you might in the beginning. Totally okay, we're human, you make mistakes, but it's not really a mistake. You're trying and you're getting through it. You're gonna have humps along the road. Humps, really? Bumps on the road. What I exactly did to transition was first eliminating all resources that allowed me to track my food, deleting my FitnessPal. When I felt the urge to do it, I would talk myself out of it or talk to someone. I would always reach out to my friends or my boyfriend to help me, because you are not always very rational in those moments, and you need someone to help you put it into perspective and remind you why you're doing this, because you do want to stop. You do want to change. You want to feel better, more free, and more in control of your life. So after removing my FitnessPal, the second thing I did was I forced myself to look inside and ask myself if I was physically hungry. And it might sound corny and stuff, but you have to practice that kind of stuff, because when you're planning all your food, your mind is creating the hunger more than your actual body. Listen to your hunger, listen to your fullness, and be okay with that, because you can always eat more later. That's something that we always don't feel like there might not be food later. There always can be, there always will be. And the last thing I did to transition into intuitive eating for me is that while I was tracking macros, I was not a flexible dieter. I was like this, straight edge. Like there was none of this going on. No flexibility. And when I stopped tracking, I would literally force myself to go out and enjoy meals with my friends, my boyfriend, my family, which is something that I didn't do at all when I was tracking. So for me, it's pretty evident that tracking wasn't the best option for me, because I couldn't do it flexibly. I couldn't lead a normal life. And a lot of people can probably still track and transition out of being really intense and not being able to eat out to tracking and eating out, I just wanted a radical change for myself to show myself that I could do it all at the same time, and I just needed it. I needed a drastic change to get out of this restrictive zone that I'd created for myself, and I learned to just eat out and be okay with it. You don't have to restrict what you eat just because you're not tracking anymore for being nervous of gaining weight and things like that. And one mistake that I did make early in trying to do intuitive eating was eating only clean, heavily nutritious foods. Like, I steered away from all the things I used to be able to eat while tracking, goodies that I liked, and I really had a hard time allowing myself to eat those without tracking. And I've luckily totally moved past that now, but it took me a couple months. And if you're struggling with that, it's okay. You will slowly make strides. Just don't stop your progress. Keep trying to incorporate the things you like. Keep trying to be more open and flexible and forgiving towards yourself. Be compassionate to your cravings so you won't go crazy and then you won't binge. And so that's a mistake that I made. I felt pretty restricted, but you eventually find your way. You will eventually find what works for you, and you'll do it when you're ready. If you're not ready to separate from tracking macros, it's okay. But if you feel like it's doing so much harm to you that you have to, there are some points where you just have to quit. But I don't have a specific recommendation. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own timeline, but you will get to where you want to go if you try your best, and you are. Even if you're struggling right now, if you're still tracking every day but you don't want to, at least you don't want to. That feeling, it'll drive you eventually to stop. I hope that my little tips and my story of how I transitioned kind of helped. Everyone's different. I don't think that mine is a model experience. I just wanted to share how I did it, and I'm just a lot happier. I feel so much more free, but I'm not perfect. So enjoy your life, enjoy your food. If you like to track, enjoy tracking. If you love intuitive eating, love intuitive eating. If you want to transition, do it. You got it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself though, because I never thought I could do it. You know, look at me now, and I'm not perfect. I'm still striving to be better and healthier inside and out, and I know you can too. Okay? So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Comment below. Check my Instagram out. Comment on there. And that's all I've got for now. And I would love to be even more expansive on this. Maybe a day in the life of intuitive eating. Whatever you guys want, let me know. All right. Bye.
I'ma change your life, I'ma change it. I'ma change your life. I'ma change your life, I'ma change it. I'ma change your life.